Oh yeah.
Right. In case you don't know, we have a judge here. I'm debt dealer.
Oh.
I'm the prosecution and the execution if it seems fit. Okay? No, he's defendant. Yeah. Isn't it nice when the prosecution and defense gets out the right way around?
Isn't it not the prosecution for the defense?
I'm sorry.
Order in my court, please.
Right.
Now, prosecution, if you would read the charges.
Okay. Right. Charges are as follows. Manufacture of contraband item, torture implement. Use of contraband item, torture implement on company member of Technical Resources Warband. And from what I can tell, interference with combat in a sanctioned arena of technical resources. Right. How do the defendants
Not guilty, not guilty. Yeah, that's all.
and you?
The first one was the design and manufacture.
Yep. Fixable.
Okay. The training device was your conceptualization and his implementation, so not guilty.
I have dealt with the judgment into hand. So it is not necessarily manufacture, but acquisition, would you say?
Yeah.
The acquisition of said death dealer, make an amendment for me, would you? Acquisition rather than the manufacture.
Fair enough.
So lesser
No.
than.
Unfortunately, possessions are still not against the law.
Of course.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay, so the first one was.
Can I make this clear? Are you denying that you possessed or used a torture implement on a company?
I never possessed or used said device.
Okay.
He is correct there, but you've not touched the device in question.
Fair enough.
Very
I
well.
was, however, I will admit to, however, being involved in the conceptualization process.
Fair enough. And yourself?
I have ownership of the item after manufactured. It was put onto a wooden volunteer for a combat trial. The idea of the conception was to use it in the acquisition of howlers, sirens, that kind of thing.
Research practices.
Yes. Right.
Don't bring the knowledge of the
Prosecution,
story.
your own slip,
Right.
please.
Okay. Unfortunately for you, we have the CCTV evidence of you putting the item on said company member from the Hive without the permission.
That is incorrect. I was in front of him and he was aware of it.
Unfortunately, you still tortured him whilst he was still alive. And as much as you call it a training implement, it is designed to put a painful shock to a member of our technical.
Not what it was designed to do. It was designed to maintain a steady electrical pulse through the deceased body of sirens so we could study them for later.
An R&D project.
The bodies of sirens degrade at a terrifying rate when, to the point of explosion when killed. I've seen them happen. I've seen this happen. But we've postulated that if you can keep the electrical charge going through the body, then you can keep the body alive, as in the tetracyte still functioning as opposed to.
I am not interested in technical terms. As far as I am aware, we have evidence.
Of a device. It was for scientific endeavor. We were trying to better everything.
As far as I am aware,
Can I just bring up the fact that the schematics of the fixer used in this implement were actually on data files of Hive itself as a technology for information gathering by force. You should have really checked the item beforehand before you started
There
using it.
is no way to get a sample from a siren or a berserker or
prosecution,
howler
you may
except
rest.
by force.
Defendant, you be silent in my court. Defense, you have the floor. I believe the prosecution went first and said that they had CCTV evidence. I will now take a look at it, please.
Okay.
You may?
Yep. And it's on my data patches.
Hand it over, please.
Right. This is the start of the arena match. Yes. As you can tell, they are
Mr. Bell is talking to the gentleman, I believe, yes. And the gentleman is nodding, and he's applying the collar now. See, he is visibly disturbed. I mean, not what the item is.
This is when the arena match starts.
Right.
It takes a couple of hits.
Yeah.
And then, yep, there's the electrical.
Electrical shock there.
Hits him to the floor.
Electrical
Sends him
shock.
into a berserk rage and starts attacking people while he then seems to target Mr. Burke himself as in some form of execution.
I see. Mr. Burke, how do you react to this evidence presented towards me?
I didn't actually see the evidence.
The evidence is as such. You knowingly placed an item of a, I'm sorry, witness?
He's unfortunately usual, so it applies for a person.
I see. As I was. You knowingly applied an item used for scientific research, as you have said. And you have applied it to this gentleman, who then became visibly disturbed by the fact of the item being applied to him. I also have it on record here that Mr. Fixer was not actually requisitioned to create an item of scientific value, but more of a training collar. Is this correct?
Fixer was aware of its intended purpose,
And what was that intended purpose?
the use of the device against, as I said, incredibly hostile elements that we frequently face.
I see. And these elements are solely mutants.
John, it actually goes down between some different civilizations that have grown past the world. Plus, alongside mutation, creatures that we have an heavy radiance. All some of them band together, like that.
I
It is
see.
also worth
But defense, it does state here that this item in question was actually created for the purpose of one of their own warband. Is this correct?
the original idea was to trial it on one of our own warband, yes.
So human testing. Yes, Bailey? I'll allow it.
Human testing is required, Your Honour. As the witnesses behind me can attest, today we lost one of our members
I
due
see.
to severe tetrasite poisoning. The same principle, in a smaller dose, can create what we call a howler,
I see.
which can happen to any man in our line of work. In such a situation, we're working on a cure, but none is present yet.
Fair
The
enough.
device would need to work on a human subject in the event that one of these situations arises, and we don't want to settle it in a terminal manner.
I see. Defense, you may call your first witness.
Commodore Whitey of the Bambam Company. Intervention is paid for a great mining operation.
Excellent. Captain Whitey, if you'd step forward. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? For if you do not, you will be shot by an out.
I do indeed. I mean,
Good. It's very good for your health that you do. Now, were you present during said tournament?
I was indeed.
If you could, please explain to me what went on during that fight.
Now, I would say that seeing the aforementioned gentleman, what you've been slandering villainously in front of his ear card about him.
Please refrain
I
from
try my
using
best, sir. Apologies. Now,
in plain words, not in this hating tongue. I'm not familiar with it.
I'm sorry, but it's the way I am.
I understand. But if you could.
Language on.
Language. I was never stickling for language, unfortunately. Sorry, Commodore.
Not at all. These fellas were looking, as one of their own had problems with said experimenting.
I see.
They were looking for a hard and strong fella who would take on the car.
I see. Do you remember the actual word that was spoken?
I'm sorry to you know it. It's been a good few months now since I've heard it.
Understood. I have it on record that the word was fizzle gidge. Is that correct? Excellent. Would you please point out for me the gentleman which spoke those words?
It's my gentleman here. It's all his
Okay. So, from what you have told me, I've gathered this. The gentleman in question, the company member, had a collar placed upon him that was originally used in the keeping alive, as you have said, of certain mutants, hostile elements. For research, of course. I see. And you have also said to me that these gentlemen applied it to the company member because he was the strongest, I believe.
I believe that's the reason why, although that's the only thing if it wasn't the reason why I would ask the fella, because if I was looking for someone who was the strongest position, that would be the first person I'd speak to. I've looked each other in the eye many times.
Thank you, witness. You may step down.
Thank you.
Voluntarily.
Very well. Prosecution, do you have any witnesses?
Okay, next character statement. Any of the war leaders or men of high standing? I want to give us a character reference to this one. This isn't the actual event itself.
Definitely not.
Technically, my character was actually alive, and he's still alive, and saw the whole thing.
Yeah, but he's not here, so don't worry about it.
Alright, okay. I was there as Xander, and Xander's still alive.
Okay, fair enough.
So if you, I can give a worded statement. I can just leave a statement and he reads off paper.
Former Allen King Xander. Please step forward.
Someone take over the camera.
Xander, if you take the cue for me.
Hang on, let me swap.
Prosecution, how long for your man to arrive?
Right now, sir.
Change of wardrobe. I think that's look disgraceful in front of you nice, lovely people.
Okay, now, silence in the courtroom, please. Can I please...
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth. For if you do not, you will be shot by an officer until death.
Yes, I try to tell the truth. It's not painful.
Okay. Could I please ask, were you there at the time?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Can you give your recollection of what happened with said item on said person?
Well, I was in the tournament. Unfortunately, I had been knocked out in an earlier round, so I stood next to my friend and colleague, the current leader of the company at the time. It was just me and him had joined forces as we had very few men on either team, so we agreed to work together in the taking back of certain assets for raiders.
Aye.
I watched the first few rounds, and I witnessed Mr. Berg talk quite plainly and calmly to a member of the company. I seen him attach something. I wasn't sure what it was. I was assured it was a good luck charm by someone else. I did see the company member was disapproving of this item after it was placed on, but made no attempt to take it off.
Okay. Thank you very much. Defence, have you anything to add?
If you'd like to cross-examine the